All right, welcome to the Jazz Piano School podcast, episode number 258. My name is Brendan Lowe, creator and founder of Jazz Piano School. Thank you so much for being here. I'm going to continue the analysis of this Bud Powell solo, this amazing Bud Powell solo, and we're really going to be looking at some key elements in this one, particularly arpeggiation and scalar motion with the use of the flat nine leading into chord tones. I'm also going to talk about delayed resolution, which is really cool, and explain why landing on the fourth in dominant chords is completely okay. If you haven't checked out Jazz Piano School, go to jazzpianoschool.com to get all of our free education. We do have a membership available if you are interested in taking that next step with us. Without further ado, let's dive right in. Here we go. All right, welcome to the Jazz Piano School podcast, episode number 258. My name is Brendan Lowe, creator and founder of Jazz Piano School. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your support. I'm going to be following up with the last podcast that I did. There was one in between that Sterling did, one of our amazing jazz piano educators here at Jazz Piano School. And this next one is going to be me doing the second part, or just the follow-up part to this Bud Powell transcription. I'm not going through all of it, but I've picked and selected sections that are going to be best fit to demonstrate all of the bebop approaches and things I've been educating over the past like 4 or 5 podcasts, honestly. I can't remember at this point, but the series has gone on for a long time, and I've gone deep into bebop and, you know, exactly what bebop approaches are going over minor chords, dominant chords, major chords, and hopefully you've been following along. If you haven't, if you're just joining me for this podcast or the one before, definitely go back and check out all those bebop approaches I explained, because a lot of this is going to make more sense if you go through those podcasts, all right? So again, you can find the transcription on the website. If you're listening on your phone or something like that on iTunes, you can get the transcription of this solo on jazzpianoschool.com on this podcast episode page. And obviously, if you are interested, we do have a membership available for people that want to take that next step with us and gain access to all the education that we have available and that I've created and recorded for you. So again, this is going to be a long line, similar to what I went over last time. And it's got some different movements, but they're very classic. I love this line because they're very classic bebop movements that are used all the time to this day. I use them. You'll still hear bebop players to this day use them. Any improvisational artist for that matter, not just bebop players, right? They're used practically everywhere. They're really, really cool. So, yeah, with that being said, let me dive right into this right now, okay? So here we go. All right, so here we are. So we're going to be starting again from the same chords that I demonstrated in the last section, but again, these movements are going to be a little bit different. So we're going to start on this B minor 7 here, and all that's happening is an outline of the B minor 7 chord. That's it. That's the first line here. It accompanies, takes up the first 2 beats. So it's just moving up, just like that, right? Just right up the chord, and then it's going to resolve into the third of the E7 chord. You hear that? Okay, and then this arpeggio continues up the E7 chord as well, but then it goes to the flat 9 of the E7 up top. And then resolve down into the 5th of the A minor 7. So if we check this out, right, and the way you might want to finger this is starting on 2 actually here. Cross under, 2, 4, 3, cross under, 2, 4, 3. So if you start on a 1 here, it's going to be kind of difficult finger-wise. So 2. Now again, 2 simple concepts, and I've talked about arpeggios in the previous podcast I did on bebop. Again, just more arpeggiation of chords, and again, just the addition of the flat 9 extension. It's just continuing the arpeggiation up to the flat 9. Very simple ideas here, right? We finally land on this 5 of the A minor 7. We come down. He does, Bud Powell, right? In a very, very easy manner too. Again, just arpeggiating the A minor, and then scalar, in a scalar manner, just walking down, just adding 1, chord scale above to lead into that third of the D7 chord. I mean, right there, that little Lego building block of bebop should be practiced in all keys. It's such a great thing, starting from the 5 of the minor chord, right? You should practice that everywhere. That's such a great, simple line that you can use and, manipulate in so many different ways to achieve your improvisational, expression, right? So he lands on this third, continues down to a flat 9 again, right? Now, obviously, you're seeing a common trend with the use of this flat 9 on the E7 chord. And then here, right, this resolves down into the 1 of the D7 chord. So A minor, 3, flat 9 over this D7 chord, 1, and then again, scalar motion down into the third. We just heard that, right? Coming from the A minor 7. But now it's coming from the flat 9, right? Or the third, I should say. But again, that scalar motion is right here from the 1. Right? Before it was here, now it's here. So very classic little Lego building blocks to get you into that next chord and get to that third there, right? So we're on the third now, the G minor. He adds in, he breaks up his 8th note line now. Okay, so before it was all 8th notes. 8th note, right? He lands on a quarter note. Now he's adding a triplet. He's adding some rhythmic contrast. So he's going to go, again, just in arpeggiation. More arpeggiation. He's going to arpeggiate a G minor rootless 7 chord. So here's our G minor 7 rootless voicing. He's just going to arpeggiate up it. So he goes quarter, triplet, quarter, triplet. And then he chooses to go back to the third of the C7. Sorry. Again, that little Lego building block is a great one to practice too, right? And what is this? So after he hits that third of the C7 chord, what does he do? He arpeggiates again. So much arpeggiation in bebop, right? So he arpeggiates actually 2 almost rootless voicings, right? This isn't a classic rootless voicing. This is our classic rootless voicing, but here it's just 1 note off. You're going 3, 5, 7, 9, right? 3, 5, 7, 9, 3, 5, 7, 9. And he resolves to the 5th, the chord tone of F, right? From a chord scale above, the 9, down into the 5 of the F. Okay, so let's check out all of this slowly. B minor, E7, flat 9, 5, arpeggiation, scalar motion into this third here. Finally resolves to that 5 there, right? So now he chooses to use more scalar motion. He's been doing a lot of arpeggiation. Now he's just coming down an F major scale, right? Now here, again, obviously the chord is changing, so he's not going to continue down the F major scale, right? He needs to go to the next chord tone in the harmonic progression, which is a D7 chord. So he's going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 3. So again, his brain's thinking, okay, I got to land on a chord tone. He chooses to land on the third. Again, another flat 9 approach to the 1 in this chord here, right? So over this D7, he's going 3, flat 9, 1. This should tell you something. Bud's using it over and over and over again. If you're not using this approach, this little Lego building block, it's probably time to start practicing the 3 into the flat 9 into the 1, right? Okay, so 3, flat 9, D7, the 1 here, 7. And then again, he's going to resolve. This is going to be on the next page, but he goes into a G7 chord here. So he's going to resolve to the third here. If it was a minor, he would resolve here. There's our G minor. But he does this because the chord is a G7. Right? So on this G7 chord, what does he choose to do again? I'm getting repetitive now. Another arpeggiation up a rootless voicing, just 3, 5, 7, 9 of this G7 chord. Okay, he jumps back to the third again. So last time he did it with the G minor. Now he goes, he adds in a triplet here, which is a really cool effect. Right? So 1 and 2 and 3, pull it, 4 and 1. Now I'm going to talk about this in a second. So what happens here is he's going, I'm sorry, I was calling this the third. The chord has not changed yet. That's my bad. So over the G7, what's happening here is he's going from the G7. This little triplet here is more like a chromatic approach into the 1. Okay, and he's going to use a bebop approach to set up the C7, which is coming next. So here, so the full bebop approach that he's using in this particular section, this is a very good educational point to take in mind and pay attention to, all right? This little bebop approach here is going, right, 5, essentially of the C7. You're thinking about our C7. So 5, 3, 4, flat 3 or sharp 9 into the 3. Another really great bebop approach, improvisational Lego building block you should have in your tool bag. Right? And again, if you did it over another chord, right? You should be able to use that bebop approach really well over essentially all major chords or dominant chords. It doesn't matter if you're playing a major 7 or a dominant. And you could actually change it, you know, to this dominant. You're not changing your right hand or anything. All you're doing is changing your left hand. Anyway, so what happens is Bud's going from this G7 chord. He actually starts his bebop approach now. He lands on this 4. Now again, this is such a great educational building block because so many books, so many teachers tell you not to land on 4s over dominant chords. Yes, technically that's correct, but if you use a delayed resolution or if it's part of this resolution that Bud's using, it's going to sound fine. It's going to sound absolutely fine. So he lands on this 4 and then resolves it into the 3rd of the C7. And then again, guess what he does? 3, 5, 7, 9. So we're seeing so many 3, 5, 7, 9, 3, 5, 7, 9. 3, 5, 7, 9 with some scalar motion maybe coming down. Right? Over the E7. Over the B7. 1. That was just a 1, 3, 5, 7, right? But so many arpeggiations with the use of 3, 5, 7, 9. So back to the G7. So there's the full line there over those 2 measures to get to this A, the 3rd of that the F chord, right? Now here to end this kind of little phrase he does, just more arpeggiation. Just more arpeggiation, right? Right? So he kind of just does this little thing here that's kind of funny, but again, just the arpeggiation right here is really what you need to pay attention to. 3, 5, 7, 9 again. So many 3, 5, 7, 9s. So I'm reading this off of multiple pages, so I'm going to go through this slowly again so we can just point out all the 3, 5, 7, 9s and the simple things he does with the scalar motion and the flat 9s to resolve into thirds moving through this, right? So here's our B minor 7. So again, 2, excuse me. 3rd arpeggiation, flat 9. 5 arpeggiation down the A minor triad, scalar motion, a chord scale above to lead into the 3rd. Flat 9, 1, chord scale above, 3rd of the G minor 7. Triple it, 3rd, 5, 7. Oh, excuse me, I think I might have played that wrong before. That should be a flat 9 there. Right? So again, more flat 9 arpeggiation. I apologize, I think I was using a natural 9 the whole time there before. 5, 4, 3. This is just a scalar walk down now. Right? Into the 3rd, flat 9, 1, 7. And this is going to go into the 3rd of this dominant chord. Again, the 3, 5, 7, 9, triple it. Now this particular rhythm is really, really cool too. You hear the contrast, the pop in it. It's such a cool rhythm. I mean, look at that rhythm and realize that just that little thing right there is an elevation in your improvisational sound. If you can start to incorporate little triplets within your lines, it's going to make your lines pop like that. Instead of just going, right, all eighth notes, or that little rhythmic contrast of the triplet really makes your line pop and will elevate your sound, right? So lands on the 4 and then continues up to the flat 9. Again, the flat 9 is just the same thing here that he used in the last one. 3, 5, 7, flat 9, 5. Again, if you don't have your 3, 5, 7, flat 9 into your 5, right? 3, 5, 7. He's using this all over the place. Now, if I'm playing fast, sometimes I'll slide down into this. You know, I can do that. But again, you can, if you want to use fingering that works a little bit better for you, can you go 2? Again, 2. It kind of depends how you're going in and coming out. Right? This will give you an opportunity to use your third finger. But again, if you're coming in kind of like if I'm on a 2 here, and I go to my thumb, just a little kind of hack right there. You can just slide down. And it really, you can't even hear the difference, right? So again, finally, Bud goes into the third of that F, and then again just arpeggiates one more time. 3, 5, 7, 9. All right. So the key elements again in this particular passage, what did we learn here? Lots of arpeggiation, just like the last podcast I did, the last analysis. Lots of 3, 5, 7, 9. Lots of flat 9s resolving into 5s, right, of the next chord, and scalar walk downs, chord scale aboves leading into the third. Not many heavy duty bebop approaches happening in this particular passage like there were before, right? Just more arpeggiation, scalar motion flowing back and forth. But obviously you can see the use of the simple bebop approaches, right? The half step above, the chord scale above, right? The half step below. All these little simple approaches he's still using very, very effectively in combination with the rhythmic contrast, which again makes him sound just so grandiose, right? In the way that his scalar motion is moving and kind of just moving up and down with all the arpeggios. It sounds fantastic. It sounds fantastic. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed that, and I'll talk to you soon. All right, well, I hope you guys enjoyed that episode. Don't forget to go to jazzpianoschool.com to check out all of our free, amazing education, all of the free podcast blogs. We do have a membership if you're looking to take a next step forward with us, get access to over 1,000 different jazz piano videos, playbooks, mini courses, a main course curriculum, success path, and so much more. If you have any questions, feel free to email us at support@jazzpianoschool.com. I hope you have a wonderful day, and as always, happy practicing.